It rocks. They look like the way they move is
I hate it. The
so.
fucking bobblehead.
Uh, this episode sponsored by McDonald's and Coca-Cola. Welcome to Happy Suffer.
And Skittles.
Do they have Skittles in this?
Hell yeah, they do.
I don't remember that.
I was not
That-
expecting to see Ronald McDonald jump scare.
I
Ronald,
like.
Ronald McDonald themselves.
We'll get into it because
Yeah, right now. I hate Ronald McDonald.
fucking rocks. This is episode 328 of Ivy Suffer. Tall naked alien.
Great.
I'm the hammer they beat Mac to death with.
They use a rubber mallet in this because it's not ET.
I'm the boombox
Knockoff.
that everyone's synchronized dancing to in the parking lot of a McDonald's.
Katie's the tiny,
Yeah, what
the tiny bear costume.
Woof. I have a lot of questions.
like why does he grow 4 feet
Yeah,
whenever he's in the bear costume?
when he's an actual
When he's
child
wearing the
dancing.
bear skin. Yeah, woof.
Yeah, we're talking about 1988's Mac and Me, directed by Absolute King Stuart Raphael, who also directed Tammy and the T-Rex.
Yeah, that
and
tracks.
Mannequin 2.
Okay, yeah.
Bangers.
Well, he's 2 for 3.
Yeah. This and this. No, I mean this movie's fucking terrible, but I kind of love it for being like just a really like it's baffling that this is a movie that exists to me. And exist on like is I'm assuming a like major motion picture budget.
Yeah. I mean, there's multiple puppets. Like, granted, the puppets can't blink their eyes completely most of the time and also don't have any facial expressions, but there are 4 of them. I don't know who wrote this movie for children because it is so like this. I thought that I had not seen this movie, to be very honest with you. Like, my only relationship to it really is like the Paul Rudd Conan stuff, I thought. But then immediately when the movie starts and the aliens do that hand thing, I was like, oh no, I have seen this. This is
God.
terrifying. It's terrifying. And also, my other question is, first of all, nobody ever calls this thing Mac, right? It's called Mac and Me, and I was like, where did Mac come from?
It's like acronym for
I see that in the
something.
description.
They say it in the movie. The I think the kid in the wheelchair says it at some point. And then it's,
Okay.
It's clearly because this entire movie was like made by McDonald's or some shit.
Yes, for sure.
If I remember correctly, I think this entire movie was made just basically as a commercial for McDonald's.
Listen, it makes McDonald's look like the happiest place ever.
I mean, yeah.
Because
You got
I will-
breakdancers
random
out front.
dance. Yeah.
Well, especially in the 80s, 100%. Because, like, this is called Mac and Me, so you would think that this movie is, like, for intents and purposes, it's like, you would think it's like E.T., where it's like this kid and this alien guy, like, palling around. Eric, who's the main character, Mac and Eric do not even meet until 43 minutes into this movie. And then after that, they're together for like maybe 10 minutes of screen time.
Mac
like-
is mostly antagonizing him
Yes.
throughout the film.
He's just like doing powers everywhere. And I was like, how is this like a like a cop buddy movie? Like, they barely interact. It just was like so weird to me. And then, of course, we get bamboozled twice into thinking multiple
Bastards.
people are dead, and when in fact that's not what happened. I'm just like,
I was never bamboozled. I turned the movie off.
that's fair.
I need to see the
They're dead to
Japanese
me.
version when they actively show this kid get shot by the police, as opposed to them just like insinuating that there was some sort of like blunt force drama for the
Yeah,
explosion.
Yeah, the explosion. He just like fell out of his chairs. Like, what killed him?
This kid
The
is
guy's just like, he's gone. That's
Yeah.
it. It's like,
He-
oh, okay.
He immediately is like, sorry, there's nothing else I can do. No emotion at all. It's just like, well, he's dead.
We didn't try anything, and we're all out of ideas.
on IMDb and like the trivia thing, there's like a bunch of shit where they talk about how there's like different dialogue in the ending of the Japanese one where the police are just like, "Oh my god, we shot him." And shit like that.
amazing.
So I need to see it. I'm sure it's probably on YouTube, but I did not get a chance to look it up.
This-
Someone, Vinegar Syndrome, 4K, 3
Release
disc,
it.
Blu-ray,
Yeah.
Mac and Me. Honestly,
Director's cut.
I
but
would-
I'm the director.
I would buy like a Blu-ray of Mac and Me if it came with like a hour and a half documentary about this shit being made.
Yeah, I'm
Because
baffled
this,
by.
anytime there's a kids movie like this from like especially the 80s where I'm just like, who was this made for?
Yeah, literally, that's what I want to know. Because the aliens are scary. The I'm gonna be very honest with you. I have like 1 page of notes, so
Yeah, that's
we
fine.
can go through that.
This
But
is one of those ones where I feel like most people that probably listen to this that watch
Yeah.
the movies have seen it.
like the aliens are fucking scary.
They're horrific.
There's like one scene that if you like change the music to be horror music, it literally is so spine tingling. It's like when Mac is trying to like signal his family and his family's in the desert and you see the mom up close and then you see the dad just fucking like nightmare, he's like a sleep paralysis demon, like walk up behind her, but he's like silhouetted, and I was like, what, who is this for? They're
Gonna
popping
get
this
murdered.
kid full of drugs because they think he's crazy. He's flying. I don't even know how he survived that ravine lunge or whatever. Like, this is, yeah, I desperately need to know who this is for.
One of the things I read is that it's supposed to be insinuated that he also died when he like plunges into the water, and that Max saves him twice.
Yeah.
Like,
When everyone's just dying and being brought back to life.
I mean,
in this movie,
it's one of those things where like if you think about it, like
I won't.
this isn't any. Yeah, our brains are off.
Fair.
Turn them off.
Fair.
This isn't darker really than like E.T., right? Like E.T. is pretty fucking dark when you look at it.
Yeah.
But like this is one of those ones where it's like I know like a gnome named Norm, like dialogue wise, that clearly isn't a movie that's made for kids, but it clearly looked like a movie that was marketed towards kids. And it's like those are that and this are movies where I'm just like, I don't understand anyone who was just like, yeah, this is green light this will be a good idea.
Yeah,
Like
this
it's
is gonna
just,
slap.
the only reason I can even assume Mac and Me got made is because of McDonald's and Coke.
Yeah.
Both kinds of Coke.
Like you guys know that I love a product placement. It is like blaringly obvious in this one because like you didn't notice the Skittles, but yeah, there's multiple times where like either Eric
To be fair, I
or
was making
whatever.
dinner while I watched this, so
Okay, fair. Is like holding a pack of Skittles, like as if he was like he like literally just like held the Skittles up in front of his face and was like showing the camera. They're chugging fucking Coca-Cola
They use
entire
Coca-Cola
movie.
to revive the family in the
Yes.
cave.
I know
It's my
my
favorite.
Yeah.
my Letterboxd review was just like, I know the thing I need when I'm hurt, I just need a Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice, refreshing Coca-Cola.
And there is
I
like
I blame this movie for an entire generation of people that when they don't feel good think they just need a McDonald's Coke.
that's fair. You know what works for a lot of people too is
Sprite.
Dr. Pepper.
Oh. I don't know if I've ever heard Dr. Pepper. I know Coke
Doc-
and Sprite are like the two that almost anyone I've ever been related to likes.
Well, Sprite, I feel, is like if you have an upset stomach, it's like similar to ginger ale, but Dr. Pepper has something in it. It's something in dark
Doctor.
soda syrup that helps with like headaches and stuff.
Dr. Pepper's actual medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know. Speaking of product placement, I totally forgot because I was really upset that I have a snack corner.
Oh yeah, I had one too, but I ate them all before we
What was
record.
it?
You know Justin's that does like the peanut butter
Yeah.
cups? They have now essentially like peanut M&Ms and then peanut butter M&Ms. And I got the
Okay.
peanut butter ones. They're so fucking good. I tried them and I
So
was like, nope, this isn't gonna last a week.
I don't even know how sometimes I like this is not that exciting. Sometimes it takes like all my willpower to like not eat whatever the thing is. So the last time I tried the toasted holiday peanut M&Ms, and I was like, okay, this tastes like peanut brittle, whatever, who cares? And then I was like, I'm not gonna try the holiday mint. How could it be different? I'm a fucking liar because I bought them anyway. I'm gonna
I mean, I
try
feel like
them.
something like that where it's like $1.25 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like not like a big deal.
They're also really joking themselves because share size, I don't think so.
Yeah. I assume they taste like mint and chocolate.
Right. Okay, so like the roasted holiday or whatever the fuck it was, roasted peanut, like to be very fair, did taste different than just regular peanut M&Ms, but they already also have mint M&Ms, and so that's why I was like confused as to how these would taste different.
Yeah, I'm telling you, all they do is they're just like, hey, we already have these flavorings. Let's just pump out a different flavor.
You know what? I expected this to taste like a peppermint patty, and it does. I'm in. I'm in. I support holiday mint M&Ms. These are good as hell.
Oh man,
You heard
Kit,
it here first.
Have you
Hmm.
seen Letterboxd interviewing Trent Reznor about his 4 favorite movies?
Uh-uh.
What
Uh,
is it?
Taxi Driver, which like whatever, I don't really care about Taxi Driver, but the other 3, Blue Velvet, Titane, Dead Ringers.
God, the man's got taste.
Yeah, the fucking
Okay, I'm
thing
gonna be
go.
eating these for the rest of the episode,
That's
by the
fine.
way.
We're gonna talk
Every
about Trent
minute.
Reznor for a while. You got a minute. The fucking tweet I keep seeing get posted everywhere. That's just like, Elon Musk couldn't make,
Yeah,
Nine
fucking
Inch
March of the
Nails,
Pigs.
but yeah, March of the Pigs. But Trent Reznor could absolutely make a car that sucks and
Sucks and
explodes.
blows.
And like, tell me a truer thing hasn't been spoken.
Also, stop calling Elon Alonia on
Yeah,
fucking
that
Facebook.
shit's awful.
Please stop fucking
Fucking
being
garbage.
the worst liberals on earth.
I haven't seen that, thankfully.
God, fucking liberals are really, just since the election, going off on like just doubling down on like,
Any kind of
what if Elon
oppressed group.
was a woman? What if you voted for Trump? Well, I hope you get deported now. And I'm just like, God, shut the
Oop.
fuck up.
Eee. Wow.
Yeah,
Pretty sure you're gonna fucking really pull in those voters next election.
yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, we should all. This country could be saved if we all just watch Mac and Me.
If
So
everyone had a nice, refreshing Coke while
yeah,
dying in a cave.
if we all just danced at a McDonald's while Ronald McDonald was there being fucking weird.
There's like 5 parties going on there. Like, okay.
Then they all somehow synchronize dancing
I was
immediately.
the synchronized dancing. I was like, what the fuck is happening at this
So,
McDonald's?
and they take it an extra level too because like an entire football team enters and also synchronized dances, and I was like, this is really the poppin'est McDonald's I've
Yeah,
ever
it's
seen.
just-
Where was Grimace? Like, like
Where
I
was
don't know,
literally
whatever.
any of them besides Ronald? I wonder if McDonald's was like, no, we can't. We can only give them Ronald. He's the one that sucks. Grimace, we can't. Grimace and Hamburglar cannot be soiled
Where is
by
the
this movie.
Hamburglar?
Hamburglar should
Wait.
have showed up and just like been the reason. Like should have unmasked Mac, and then just ran off.
That would have been amazing. So I have just like some really broad. I gotta say, also, if this truly is like a kids movie, this is not holding any kids' attention because this is the longest, like most boring movie ever too. The first, like I said, I don't know.
I mean, so I haven't seen E.T. in probably 25 years.
Okay.
Have you guys seen it at all in like recent memory? Do you know how long it takes? Do they show ET like immediately? Like, because like technically they show the aliens like immediately in this movie, but you don't really get, like Katie said, you don't get like the meetup of like this kid and Mac for like
worlds colliding.
Yeah, where like I know ET and like the kids like meet up pretty quickly.
Yeah, in my memory, it's like the beginning of the movie, but I have, to be very honest, like I haven't watched it in a little bit either.
I mean, I know it's not like the length.
It's not 43 minutes.
But I was just curious, like, you know, like if that was one of those ones, like where everyone's like, oh, we gotta wait to show the like creature or whatever, but like, you know, they're fucking immediately like, here's some fucking weird movements from aliens in the desert.
Yeah. Also, I'm just gonna save everybody the trouble now. If you want to watch the wheelchair scene, it's at 32 minutes and 31 seconds.
Just search Paul Rudd, Conan O'Brien.
You could also do that because it is the funniest thing in the whole world.
If you go into the GIF search bar on your phone and just type in Mac and Me, it pops up.
That's true.
The way they edit that scene for the Conan one is perfect because it always ends with Mac popping up.
Yes. that's
like
exactly where the GIF. That's where the GIF
so
ends.
Good. Like that scene and the McDonald's scene, I feel like are the only one. I don't know. Seeing them dressed up as people getting sworn in,
woof.
Maybe the most horrifying thing I've ever seen.
The scene where Eric and Mac are fleeing from the FBI or the government or whatever, and he is wheelchairing into oncoming traffic, also very good.
When he grabs the truck and just has it pull him, I was like, this would either A, rip your arm off, or like rip you out of this chair. This is the most insanely built wheelchair.
Yeah,
in
existence. This kid's upper body strength is outdone by nobody. I will tell you that much.
He's like literally, like they're flying down that hill and he's still pushing fast. The wheels, and I'm like, come on.
Also, when the brother saves him and just like deadlifts him, the chair, and Mac or whatever into the moving van, I was like, wow, that is a really strong 16-year-old.
I will say, like, they show
steroids.
They show him do that.
Yeah.
Do they show him do that? I feel like in the beginning of the movie they show him do that for real. He wouldn't be able to do it in a moving car. But, like, I feel like they show him at the beginning, show him do it. But I can't remember if it's, like...
They show him taking him out, maybe helping him out of the van. Yeah. But
so, like, I think
you can't...
Yeah,
no.
like, but doing it where they're doing, apparently, 90 down the fucking freeway.
No. Okay, so this movie... I will comment that the theme song is very whimsical, but they play it during stuff that's not whimsical.
Okay.
So...
Did the fucking song in this sound like something like I was like, okay,
it sounded like Gremlins.
I thought it sounded like Back to the Future a little bit.
I thought it sounded like the Gremlins.
Where I was
sentimental.
Like, yeah, when it played, I was like, okay, I know I'm gonna look at IMDb and it's gonna be like, this song was ripped off from this movie or whatever, and it didn't have it. I couldn't find anything about it being like from another movie, but it is so fucking similar to something that I just couldn't place it. It might be Gremlins. I don't know if I could remember offhand like any of the music from Gremlins. But like every time it played, I don't know, like I got like Back to the Future a little bit, like, or like like I know it wasn't exactly the Back to the Future theme, but like I would like that's the thing that popped into my mind when I heard it.
The only reason I remember, let me see here. Okay, I tried to like Google it or whatever, but it just says that it was ripped off of E.T. Like that's not what I'm asking.
Yeah, everything's just like, well, clearly just from E.T. And I'm just like, yeah, I
mean,
get
like,
it.
sure.
This whole movie's ripped off E.T. But like,
you can also just watch the McDonald's dance party clip. By the way, to me it sounded like Gremlins, and I have a pretty good memory for theme songs. But the only reason I thought of it is because I think it's mental illness, to be honest with you. But there's like a scene in Gremlins when Gizmo is like singing along to the theme song, if anybody remembers that, and it's like the same cadence.
I'm looking at somebody that did like a review of the score because like they've released it on vinyl or whatever, and it says the first two cues sum up the whole score very nicely. Family Planet opens with a synthetic theme for the aliens, which sounds remarkably similar to Gizmo's little song from Gremlins. Oh. Maybe that's just the whistling they're thinking.
Well, but he's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do not like. I can't disagree with you because like I just don't remember the Gremlins one, but like I also could see it. I guess maybe I'm so fucking like.
No,
I'm so accustomed now to watching so many like Asian movies and like Italian movies where they constantly just straight up lift actual scores from other movies.
Oh, sure.
And I was just like the entire time I was like, this is from something. I know this is from something.
It's my opinion that it's Gremlins, but anyone can whatever.
I'm gonna re-edit this movie a bunch for YouTube where I just put in different scores. Like I'll put in like the Rocky theme.
Perfect. Good idea.
Eye for the tiger, or whatever.
Eye of the tiger.
Yeah, but yeah, sure. Eye of the tiger. But it's just Win Max rolling down that hill into the water.
Perfect. I love that. The music is also so weird because there's like that scene where the mom is going running and Eric's like, oh, I'll wheelchair along next to you or whatever. And Mac gets like chased up a tree by a bunch of dogs, but they're playing this song that's about like, we're different, but we're best friends. And it's just like this really sentimental, like 80s jam about finding each other. And I was like, what is going on? It was so weird.
I'm gonna make a movie solely to make you like do the score, but it's just gonna be that. Like,
I'll do it. What were we watching? Oh my god. Okay, we didn't actually watch it, but there's how I was watching that Fear Zone channel. There's obviously like a Christmas like version or whatever, and this movie came on that was called like a Christmas movie, and it was called like A Christmas Movie Christmas or something like that. And we watched maybe like, I don't know, 25 minutes of it. And I was just like, I like the premise of it, but the acting was, of course, abysmal. And there's like a part where they like wake up in, a Christmas movie scenario. And there's this like little paper boy that just walks up and goes, extra, extra, here you go. And gives her like a newspaper. And I was like, excuse me? You couldn't even get like a street orphan I was like, call me next time. I'll do the ADR. Like,
I can do the newsy voice. I'll wear the hat.
Like, come on. Anyway, okay. So Mac and Me starts with a bunch of aliens just doing their thing on their planet, just walking around all crazy as they do. And then also one of the aliens drinks from the ground with a straw. So I guess what they're saying to us is that whatever planet they're on, Mars, ? I assume this was the Mars space rover, land rover thingy. It's got Coca-Cola under them there.
If these things are on Mars, fucking let Elon go to Mars and then just blow up his rocket so he's stuck there.
Definitely.
Blow up Mars.
Yeah, they insinuate a couple times that like essentially they're fucking what they drink is Coca-Cola on their planet.
Right.
They don't have like buildings or any kind of civilization. They just invented
Coke.
It honestly would just make me assume that in that timeline, that just means like we've been to Mars and they're just like draining the planet of their resources for us to drink it here.
That's what.
Like they didn't create Coke; they literally just stole it from another planet.
That is actually reality. So don't tell anybody. I
want to go to Mountain Dew planet.
Yeah, he's drinking out of a straw, whatever. A space rover thing comes to like collect rocks and shit, and it like sucks up the aliens.
I was not expecting like a sort of effect CGI shot in this movie. So when they get sucked into that thing, I was like, wow, this looks like shit.
I'm telling you, some of the creepiest shit I've ever seen is in this movie, and it all comes from these aliens' weird ability to like stretch their body parts.
Hate it.
What the fuck? Okay. So, long story short, the space rover thing transports them back to Earth. I don't know how they survived the trip from wherever their planet is to Earth, but they couldn't survive like one day in the desert, but whatever. They get to...
I think the assumption is that like they're like there's just I don't know, like they're out of... Well, the Earth is clearly stealing all of their water.
Right.
So, cheese for Coke.
Like, that's the only thing the only thing I don't understand in this movie. It's just like, what...
Only that. Everything else is crystal clear.
What is going on their planet that they're just like, they just seem like they're about to die before they get sucked up into this thing. Like, that's what I want. I need a prequel about what happened to this planet.
Yeah, I don't know. But
no talking, it's just this weird whistling noises the entire movie with subtitles.
Clicking,
yeah,
skittering.
No, you get the actual subtitles of what they're saying, but there's no actual words being said in the entire movie because the entire thing takes place.
What if they're just saying clicking and skittering?
Yeah,
it's all just gibberish.
Yep, unintelligible.
Yeah, unintelligible skittering.
Yep. What up?
Voluminous squelching.
Oh, you know what I want is a movie where the dialogue is just delivered through Spirit Box.
No thing. Oh my god, we get so fucking old so fast. I say that as somebody that listens to noise all the time. That would be so fucking annoying. 5. Kill.
Aaron's mom. Okay. The aliens are on planet Earth now, and they're in a lab, and they immediately fuck shit up and bust out. Somehow,
honestly, watching them punch windows out in a wall, pretty sick. This movie could have been extremely cool if it just went like the opposite direction and they just like tore Earth apart.
I agree. They escape, and like the parents and the one sibling just like peace out and leave Mac there by himself for some reason. This is so scary because the aliens in this movie are a combination of like people wearing suits but also just like puppets.
Yeah, I think Mac is a puppet the entire time except for, I mean, clearly it's like a kid in that teddy bear costume.
You're right.
And I feel like there's maybe one other scene where like they show him maybe from like the back doing something, but I think almost every other time it's just like a puppet. But the other 3 are all clearly people in suits.
Yeah, I question whoever's playing the dad is like so tall and scary. This is like they show like an upshot of Mac like running out of the thing, and it's like a full child in it, or I assume, I don't actually know, but it's like a full costume, and it's so creepy.
Yeah, just the top half.
Half a child on a skateboard.
The right half.
Like, there's maybe 1 or 2 shots that's like before you get like, especially when they're doing all of the shit where like Mac is fucking around in their house without them knowing he's there, but like, you know, the kids obviously like weird things are happening. Like, you'll see just like skittering by like a doorway, and that's, you know, clearly a kid in a costume. But like anytime it's an actual visual like close up of Mac, it's the puppet.
Yeah, weird. So this is very scary because this is like, they show, first of all, this is like one of the scenes, they show an upshot of him from behind, like running across the parking lot, and I didn't like that. Then he grabs onto an electrical fence and gets electrocuted, and his whole body like stretches out, so fucking scary. I was like, that's why I'm like, who is this for? Because the child, that's a no-go. That's his like face and his eyes pop out. It's so freaky. And he's fine though. He like ricochets over into the road and causes like a huge accident pile up where he sneaks into somebody's car. Then we get like 40 minutes of this family having like moved to California, and they're like unpacking their house. I'm like, fun. This is what I
and we have to help.
Moving.
They make the audience help.
They just stare at you until you get up and go help.
So as
the movie won't continue unless we get this shit out of this van.
Yeah. So like this is where the family's like unpacking, and Mac is at their house just like doing shenanigans and shit, including one scene which also creeped me out where he just like peeks around the doorframe of the brother, and I was like, ew, Stop. He does it twice. It's very creepy. He's doing his powers, which apparently is just like electricity. Cool.
Yeah. Do you think it's because he got electrocuted?
Oh my gosh, I didn't even put that together. Maybe.
I just put it together because I legit forgot the electrocution scene until you said something about it.
I didn't forget the electrocution scene, but I was definitely really distracted by how grotesque it looked.
Blocked it out.
Yeah. So he's also befriended this like little girl next door who was like, I don't even know where to start with her.
Somehow the best actor in this movie.
Yeah, she's also
she's pretty good as like the sort of like the weird eccentric kid neighbor.
Yeah.
Like I thought she was relatively good. The mom's not bad, but like she's just doing typical like 80s kids movie mom bullshit.
Yeah.
Everyone else's movie horrendous.
A single mom who works too hard, that's her. So she they kind of like talk about how like I said, weird shit's going on in the house. They kind of talk about how like he's seeing things and they're like, okay, weird. Then the wheelchair thing happens where he just like careens down a hill into a ravine.
It's so good.
So like the whole point of them, they don't, at least maybe I wasn't paying attention. They don't really ever say what happens to like the dad, but it's a mom, the main character Eric, and then his older brother move into this house, and the mom is talking about how great it is because it's like super accessible for him. It's got huge windows, he can look outside. It's an open concept, so he can like go anywhere he wants in the house, and he seems like very independent, right?
But I do love an open concept home.
Me too.
Also, they're on the biggest hill I've ever seen.
So, right, but that's what I'm saying, like, but then your backyard is a steep hill down into a ravine. I don't know.
Their backyard essentially looks like the entire time all I could think of was like the house you got married at, that giant fucking hill behind the house.
Which is in California,
just
so fair.
With like a ravine in the background where I'm just like, cool.
It's honestly a wonder nobody fell down that hill, to be honest with you.
I should have.
You should have waited till he asked us to like put on the rings, and then you were just like, "What?"
Just pretend to trip and fall down the fucking hill. Just lay down there the rest of the time. No one comes to check on me.
We're just like, well, he's fine. Don't worry.
Throw a Coke at me. You'll be fine.
Someone bring him a Coke. It reminds me of, obviously, since I just finished it, Parks and Rec when Leslie falls into the pit. Like that's essentially what happened.
That's what I was like, just doing like the fucking like just roll all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so he like almost dies, and like it's crazy because like I think that he was like trying to see Mac. He followed him, I guess, and then he just like lost control of his wheelchair down this steep incline. Literally flies, chair and all, into the ravine, which is water. And of course, like Max saves him or whatever. The mom is like, why would he do that? Like as if this child was like trying to kill himself or something.
Like he's trying to hit a ramp and do like a flip.
Right, like he was doing, tricks. Like she really reacts in a way that I was not expecting, where she like blames him for it. And I was like, okay, well, technically, like, sure, technically it was his fault because he did it, but like, he wasn't trying to like fly into a ravine, you know what I mean? But because of this, they like bring a doctor and like start putting him on like medication because I think he's crazy. And I was like, this child is like not being treated correctly, but it's fine. Eventually, Eric does some kind of plan to prove that Mac is real by sucking him into a vacuum. This is when they finally
Amazing.
Meet up.
Best scene in the movie.
Agreed.
Which is 43 minutes into the movie, and they're like, and the little girl from next door and the brother are there. So he's like, look, I'm not crazy. Here's this creature. But then as soon as that happens, the mom comes home and Max skitters out the back door. So they finally met face to face and they are immediately separated.
I do think it's interesting that like they don't do like the ET route where like there's a bunch of sort of like bonding shit. Like they never at any moment are like bonding, like having any time to like just hang out. Like he's either constantly running away or they're trying to like get away from like the fucking CIA or whatever.
Yeah, it's weird in my mind because like
they clearly thought they were getting a sequel. They were going to do all the bonding in the next movie.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because
like they clearly act.
You both said you fucking turned it off. So like at the very end, like
I didn't turn it off.
Oh, I thought you both said you did, and you turned it off.
No.
I let him die.
I watched.
Yeah,
it.
At the very end, like Max chewing gum and blowing bubbles, and like the very end, he blows a bubble. It just says "We'll be back." And apparently, the first screening of this movie, everyone booed.
I mean, that's honestly a fair reaction.
It's a threat.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Yeah. Honestly, the sequel now. Let's do it.
Now's the time.
McDonald's could use the help.
They really could, honestly. This is the scene I was talking about where there's just like this sentimental song playing to the mom running with Eric, and Mac is up on a tree having been chased by a bunch of dogs, and it's like him up in the tree at the top and then the mom and Eric like in the distance, and it's like we'll be best friends forever, and I was like, what is going on here? So Mac, I guess, like has shown back up at the house, but like, I was gonna say, yeah, there's no bonding whatsoever, except like they very clearly make Eric and the little girl next door like able to understand his emotions and feelings and stuff, which is like really strange.
Yeah.
And it's like weird. So Mac shows back up and he's the mom is like, okay, she starts a new job, of course, and she's like, I gotta go to work. You kids are crazy. And Eric is supposed to go to a birthday party with the girl next door. I don't even remember what her name was.
Probably Teresa.
Sarah or something. Yeah. And
honestly, you could, outside of Mac, you could have told me they never gave anyone in this movie a name, and I would have believed you.
Yeah, same.
Honestly, they didn't even give Mac that name. The kid just says it like stands for some whatever.
Yeah, fair.
Multi-dimensional alien creature or some shit.
Mysterious alien creature. Not even as cool as multi-dimensional. I love this. It says escaping nefarious NASA agents.
The evil NASA.
The evil NASA, yeah. Anyway, he's got to go to a birthday party, and Eric is like, well, I can't just leave him here. And so they come up with this idea that they skin a stuffed animal teddy bear and put it on Mac. And for some reason, he's very tall and big.
Absolutely horrific. Like, it looks like he's wearing a leather face mask.
Yes, his eyeballs are poking through the empty eye sockets of this teddy bear costume. And like I said, now he's like, instead of being like, because that whole scene where Mac and him after the McDonald's scene are like escaping, Mac's just like sitting in his lap. He's a tiny little guy. But when he comes out in the bear costume, he's like bigger than Eric. And I was like, okay.
It looks like they like just skinned an Ewok and put him in it. I also like that, like, as soon as they get into this McDonald's, Mac is like
wilding out,
fiending for like Coke. Like, he is stealing everyone's Coke. He is going fucking bonkers seeing how much Coke is in this room.
You can't handle it. Yeah, so they go to the birthday party. I was so confused because like the mom is driving them to this birthday party and NASA is like following them or whatever. Then they just like pan to this McDonald's parking lot where there's a bunch of people dancing to like a boombox in the middle of the parking lot, like literally in the middle of the parking lot. There's like so 50 upset. People out there like jamming out, and I was like,
go to another McDonald's.
Yeah, or a vacant lot or something. But I was like,
no, I'm saying if I pulled in and I saw this happening, I would be like, we're going to the other McDonald's. I don't care.
Yeah.
20 minutes away.
Not dealing with this shit.
Yeah, so they're like dancing, and I was like, this is like such a weird cutaway for them to be showing us. But then the mom pulls up, turns out the birthday party is also in this McDonald's. And I was like, okay. So they go inside, and she's just, the mom is just like, all right, peace out, and just like leaves. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, same.
This is the busiest fucking McDonald's I've ever seen in my life. There's like easily 50 people inside also.
They say it, but there's a birthday party happening and a dance contest.
Yeah, so, there's kids screaming, running around.
For some reason, though, everyone is dressed up as like whatever their quota, like not occupation's not the right word, but it's like there's a football team, there's a bunch of cheerleaders. Like there basically should just be a bunch of people in construction outfits that break into a synchronized dance. Like this scene is fucking somehow the most insane thing in this entire movie.
Agree, because it's like.
We're talking about a movie where a kid gets shot to death and brought back to life.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like weird because it's like it goes on so long also, and it has nothing to do with what's going on in the movie. Like, so they get to the birthday party.
It's literally just the extended McDonald's commercial.
Yeah. Everybody is already like dancing and like whatever. And Mac immediately does his fucking stretchy arm thing and steals some kid's Coke, and everyone's just like staring at them.
Oh, and don't they say it's a toy? Like the Mac's just like a toy?
That's what they say, but like, come on. Again, he looks.
We beat this thing to death with hammers.
So he and the little girl are like dancing around. Eric's brother shows up and it's just like, hey, those guys are following us. And I was like, I don't remember you noticing there was guys following you before. But again, I like tuned out at some point. And so they come back and he's like, oh, Mac's here. He's in the bear suit. And so they walk up and the little girl and Mac are just like standing there dancing. Everyone's dancing. He's dancing on the fucking counter with like McDonald's employees like dancing behind him.
It's the worst dancing I've ever seen as well. It's so fucking like bland.
It's
all he's
bizarre.
Doing is just like moving back and forth and like clapping his hands.
Yeah, and I'm also like, get off the counter, you fucking guy. Yeah, and this is when like the football team comes in. There's like dancing everywhere. NASA comes in and it is like, that's suspicious, and like chases them. But then when Eric and Mac like zip on out of the McDonald's, Eric like throws Mac's costume off or whatever, and the NASA people are like trying to follow him, but there's so many fucking people dancing in the parking lot that they like can't get to him, and he escapes. And like this is like the fastest wheelchairing I've ever seen in my life. This kid is fucking zooming, and the NASA people are like following him on foot for some reason, running down like the steepest California hills you've ever seen in your life. He is like literally like going head on into traffic and shit, and like he also crashes through somebody's like back fence and he's fine. And he ends up, this is like what you were saying earlier, where he like grabs onto the truck or whatever. And so like the whole thing is that he's trying to like get to this department store where his mom works. And so they end up making it there, but then like the guys are chasing him, so he doesn't even talk to his mom. He just like zips on through, and the mom's like, why are you guys chasing my son? And like runs after them all.
She's a good runner in heels, I will say.
She's really good. Yeah. And then like the rest of his sister or his brother, and then like the next door neighbor sisters, which they're now besties with, pick him up in the van, and then they're like, hey, he's trying to find his family because somehow they just know how to talk to him or whatever. And they're like, he keeps pointing that way. I think we should just go figure out what's going on. And they're like, okay, let's do it. And they just drive out into the desert.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right.
I mean, so what else are you going to do?
This goes on for a while.
Where else would you take it?
That's true. This goes on for a while. This is where they feed him more Coke and they feed him Skittles, and he really likes the Skittles. He likes to taste the rainbow, if you know what I mean. Then they end up like going in this like abandoned mine shaft where they find the rest of his Mac's family, and they appear to be dead. And I was like, oh, that's what? His family's dead? That's weird. But then...
It's so disturbing. Like, they just walk into a cave and then these, like... They're almost, like, gray looking.
Huge dead aliens.
Yeah. So dead.
But through the power of Coca-Cola, they're fine.
Terrible. Should have left them dead.
I agree. Then, basically, they're like... okay, let's just take these aliens back into the town, I guess. And there's like all this shenanigans where they just like go into a supermarket and are like stealing stuff, and there's like explosions and whatnot. And the cops come, and like what we see essentially is like an explosion. So that's what you're saying. Like, I think they're trying to cover it up by inferring that Eric just got like caught in the explosion, and I was like, this child almost dies a lot.
Yeah, so
because
like, in the US one, it's like they're just like insinuating that like the blast kills him, or that like something from the explosion hits him and it kills him, and like they like I think they changed the dialogue for the US one or something. Like, I don't know, I was reading about it on like IMDb and how like the difference between this and like the Japanese ending, and how in Japan they make it extremely clear that the police shot him.
I mean,
which I feel like A, more accurate, and B, like as I just more interesting of an ending than just like, I don't know, somehow he died.
Yeah, he's just dead. And like we said, the whoever, I don't even know if he was a paramedic or what, he just like walks up and he's like, sorry, nothing we can do. And they're all like,
no
oh my
CPR,
God.
Nothing. They're just
nothing.
Like, oh, this kid died.
He's real dead. And they're all like crying, of course, but then out of the explosion and the fire walks the aliens, and they just like bring him back to life. He's dead for a couple minutes though. So like, I at first was like, he
should be like fucked up and like haunted.
Yeah.
Like, you know how like you'll see like some like horror movies will do that sometimes, where like someone's been dead for like 10 minutes and they're like for whatever reason able to revive them, and now they're just like different.
Evil. Yeah.
Like, it should have the sequel should just be that like this kid is like real fucked up now.
Yeah, they should have like incorporated the Lazarus Pit somehow, and then he becomes Ra's al Ghul.
I just think the sequel just opens with like this kid has like murdered and skinned alive Mac, and it's just like wearing him as a suit. Yeah, I agree. That's actually really what should have happened in this one. Look, when does Mac and Me enter the public domain? Because I'm gonna make one of these shitty like fucking Pinocchio Popeye slasher movies, but it's gonna be Mac and Me.
Put it in the Poonaverse.
Have you seen the fucking image from the Popeye one they're doing now?
Yes.
It looks like absolute shit. Stop making these movies.
I saw someone they like had posted the crossover poster for like whatever extended
that looks like the Avengers and shit.
And someone was like, I bet this movie looks sick as fuck if you're a complete fucking idiot.
I clearly I'm on board with a very like a stupid movie with a stupid idea and like dumb premise, but those movies just look like shit to me.
Well,
I only made it halfway through the first one. It was so bad.
Yeah. I think there's a difference between people who make stuff as a joke and it's good and funny, and then like, I don't know, the result that we get most of the time.
Everyone should stop making movies for like 10 years except for Ridley Scott. Put more sharks in coliseums.
Please.
Okay,
I've never seen the first Gladiator, but I saw him on like the fucking being interviewed where they're like, we know that's not like historically accurate, and he was like, yeah, it is. I said, you gonna tell me no Coliseum flooded and sharks didn't get in there? I was like, what a king.
I mean,
I just like that they're constantly just like, well, you know those French accents are real. He's like, who gives a shit? That's how every director should just be like him and John Carpenter, where they're just so antagonistic of being asked questions all the time.
I agree, honestly.
All right, Mac's dead. The kid's dead. Now they're U.S. citizens.
Everybody, the entire planet explodes at the end.
Yes.
He's dead for...
drained the world of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
That's right. They had to start
That was
over.
it. That was the end.
I picture it being like, have you guys seen the Futurama episode where Fry realizes he has like millions of dollars, and like that there's like a whole thing about like sardines are like technically extinct, and you find out it's because like Zoidberg's creatures like ate them all, but he has the last can, and so he opens it and Zoidberg like freaks out and eats it all, and he's like, more, I need more, and then just like eats the camera or whatever. I picture that being the ending, where it's like Max just like, I need more Coca-Cola.
Because wasn't it like he was talking about like anchovy pizza?
Anchovies,
and he was like,
that's
it's
right.
The best. It's like the best thing ever, whatever. And then they finally at the end get to try it, and they're all like, ew.
Yeah, Mom's robot company or whatever, like Mom. It's just like, if they find out that like anchovy oil, you could like make a synthetic robot oil, I'll be bankrupt. Right. So she wants to buy them to get rid of them, and he's just like, no, I'm gonna enjoy a nice pizza.
To eat it.
Nice pizza with my friends. And she's like, you're gonna eat it? All right, good luck, sucker. And then like walks out.
Yeah. Gross.
Go watch Futurama. Yikes. Good show.
Oh, so good.
So good.
I feel this way about King of the Hill too, because it's the same, but those two specifically, I feel like there's almost any situation you're in, you could be like, it reminds me of that episode of ... Futurama and King of the Hill both take the cake every time. So that's
I
it.
Have escaped the Slurm factory.
Yep. Slurms McKenzie was at that McDonald's. I don't know if you saw him in the back.
Wish. They get dressed up in horrendous American clothes, even though they look like they're like from the 50s, and they get sworn in.
They should have ended this with the dad eating Eric's dead body instead of bringing him back to life.
Just jam straws in him and suck him dry.
Yep.
The one thing I was like, which I guess Kit did not see, like the fucking NASA Men in Black, whatever the fuck these people are, come running in, and like whether being sworn in as U.S. citizens. And like
what a weird twist.
Yeah, and like I feel like it seems like they're coming in to like take them back or whatever, and then they just like join the audience and watch, and I'm like, what the fuck?
They say the Pledge of Allegiance. It's like very strange because it's like the act of bringing this little boy back to life, who, let's just be real, the police killed. Like, for some reason, NASA's like, oh, okay, yeah, they can be American citizens. And I was like, they don't, like, excuse me? They can't communicate. And I'm so confused as to what the situation is, where it's like, you can't figure out how to get them back to their own planet if they want that. Like, I'm just so confused.
Well,
and then, they're all standing.
My assumption is that, like, their home planet is, like, nothing now. Like they were clearly dying from lack of like resources.
I didn't get that at all.
That's like they never say it, because obviously these things don't talk, but like they're like just
they just bobble their fucking
they're
heads.
just like wandering the wasteland of whatever.
That was when they were on Earth, though.
No, when they're on Mars, before they get sucked up into that ship, they're just sort of like wandering around.
Yeah, just wandering a barren Mars.
And that's why
they looked like they were having a fun family outing to me. I did not pick up at all that they were being technically rescued by America.
I don't know. That's the way I saw it. But I also think
I hate that even more.
What if these aliens were like horrible perverts that got dropped here from their home planet? Like they were banned, they were banished, exiled to Mars.
They were on exile. I would watch that movie. They were actually space perverts the whole time.
The prequel showing the big fucking horrible perverts getting banned from their planet.
Space pervert and me.
Come on, whatever studio made this, let us write a script.
Yeah.
We'll do a prequel and a sequel. The prequels that they're perverts, the sequels, Eric has lost his mind and is now a fucking psychopath. Wearing Mac's skin as a suit.
He fell to his death in a ravine and then was shot to death by the police. So, like, I think he's I would understand.
Clearly, adult Eric is Paul Rudd.
Oh my god, it all makes sense.
That's what, that would be the casting easily.
The trauma has reversed age, has made it so he doesn't age. That's why he's ageless. He just stays 11 forever.
The sequel takes place a year later, but we have Paul Rudd play this child.
Yeah. Duh, yes. Let's do it.
Also, Kit, you missed the very end that after they leave being sworn out, the aliens are driving the car they're in.
With the children.
Oh my god.
It's literally just the alien family and Eric and the little girl. And I was like, I'm sorry, you trust these...
And here's the alien is driving with one hand, the other hand just out the window, and I was like, what is happening?
Here's my question. I want to know, if you go to take a citizenship test, do you just get sworn in with, a whole group of other people? Is that real?
I don't know.
There's, an entire courtroom of people that are, also stating the pledge or whatever. The aliens can't talk, so they can't say the pledge. Also, did they take the test? Are they learned now? No. I have so many questions.
I would be curious because it feels like it would, if you're doing, an entire class, I feel like just swearing them all in at one time is just, a time saver.
Sure, I just want to know if it's real. I'm not arguing with their
Let's sign up for citizenship and find out.
Okay, let's do it.
Then we can vote twice.
Perfect. It's scary to me because they've now put all of the aliens in clothes, even though they were.
I thought you were gonna it's scary to me now because now these things are among us in America.
You will never
Katie's
know.
Taking a weird turn.
I'm what QAnon Anonymous is about. Yep. No, just kidding. No, they put clothes on them, even though they don't have any kind of there's no reason for them to be wearing clothes, at all. Also, they put the dad in this blue suit, which if you're forcing this guy to wear clothes, don't make him wear a suit. But when they're doing the swearing in, he has this gross pervert hand up, and he he turns his head to blink, but only one of the eyes blinks because the puppet is shitty. It just was demented. If I had a word for this movie, I would say demented. Yeah, so they do the swearing in, and we're like, you're all citizens. The NASA guys are there. They're huge supporters of the space perverts being citizens now.
So apparently it does say that, yes, when becoming a U.S. citizen, individuals are typically sworn in as a group during a naturalization ceremony. Where they all stand and recite the Oath of Allegiance together. I mean, it's probably it's just got to be a thing because you figured
time saving.
If you have 40 people in that class or whatever, you're gonna be there all fucking day making them recite this shit.
I get it. I just guess I didn't think of the actual
logistics or whatever.
Logistics of it, yeah. Also, what a weird it's just such a weird ending. And then, they're just driving this classic pink convertible or something with just the two little kids in the back. And I was like, where are these aliens living now? Do they have jobs? What?
I assume the dad alien and the mom alien are now in a throuple with Eric's mom, and they all just are
they would almost
Makes
have
sense.
to be. They built a bridge between the two houses, and they're all just a commune now. I don't think there's any other way.
What if they're just living in that car? the sad ending is they're homeless.
They're homeless now. Thanks, America. Essentially, yeah. I don't know. What a weird movie.
It's so good.
It's excruciating. It was.
It rocks.
I will say.
So good. It's bad, but I also was I don't know. I had fun watching it because it's real stupid and makes no sense and horrific. It's a perfect major studio not like understanding what they're making, sort of like 80s movie.
Sure, but I guess like maybe I could forgive it if it was like shorter. Because like
I don't think it's not even like it's like an hour and a half. I think what you need is like I think they need to like meet up earlier in the movie.
Something.
There needs to be more like they're like that ET sort of bonding because like
yeah,
like for the most part I don't give a shit about anyone in this movie. Cause like
no,
really it's just a bunch of scenes happening and like there's no real connectivity between like any of the characters outside of being like, well, they're family, I guess.
Yeah, and like, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's like it's a fun, like this, like when people were just like, oh, like bad movies, like I think of shit like this when I'm like thinking like a fun bad movie because it's like clearly not good, but like it's so weird and like baffling that it exists that it rocks. Like I think of this as like the Troll 2 of like weird little guy movies. Where like people consider like or always say like Troll 2 was like the best bad movie. This is like the best bad weird little guy movie to me.
I don't know.
Like I'm not saying it's good, you know. Like I'm not like
I think you are.
No,
I think
like,
you're saying this deserved an Oscar or whatever.
Criterion release.
It did get 4 Razzies, so put it on the Criterion channel next time the Razzie thing comes around.
I love that Jennifer Aniston is here as dancer in McDonald's uncredited.
Yeah, this is apparently her like film debut.
Pull it up, Jen. Let's see. Could you imagine me like, oh yeah, so what was your first movie? Oh yeah, it was the dance party scene at McDonald's in the movie Mac and Me.
She doesn't even acknowledge that like Leprechaun is her first starring role, so she definitely doesn't acknowledge this as her on her fucking credits.
That's fair.
She sucks.
Feel
fuck her. You have
true.
2 incredible movies you're in that you just refuse to acknowledge.
I don't care about her at all, but I do relate to like her and Andrew Kendrick like absolutely never remembering any movie that they're in because I feel like if I was like an actress of any sort, I would never like remember.
Gwyneth Paltrow never knowing what Marvel movie she's actually in.
Sure, like why do you? That's not for me to know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
just keep sending me those checks. I don't care.
I mean, you like no. Well, I have very strong opinions against Gwyneth Paltrow, so I will not say get that coin or whatever. But I could see how that would happen to me. Is all I'm saying.
I like the idea of being in so many movies that you're just like, oh well, I guess I was in that. I got a check from it.
I saw it just like anytime I ever read an interview like that, I think it's so funny. And this is a little bit different because he was like a child, but Macaulay Culkin was in like a version of the Nutcracker, and he is like adamant that I don't necessarily think he's adamant that it didn't happen, but somebody was like trying to talk to him about like how it was acting with the Mouse King in it, and like was he scared? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, that never happened. And they're like, yeah.
Was it a play or a movie? Or like TV show or something? Like
I'm not sure.
It's one of those things where if it's something that was filmed, like how are you going to be like, that's not a real thing?
Well, he was there like, no, like there's pictures of you with the person in the costume, and he's like, no. So I don't know if it's maybe that's like a different, maybe he's just like blocked it out because it was terrifying. I could see that. But whenever people are like, here's this picture, like, have you seen that interview with Jake Gyllenhaal and one of the Quaid guys from Day After Tomorrow? And they're like in an interview for a different movie, and they're like, oh yeah, I played your dad and whatever. And he's like, no, you didn't. We've never been in a movie together. And he was like, yeah, I was your dad in Day After Tomorrow. And he's like, no, I don't think so. And then it like clicks. Because like, obviously we think they're on set together all the time. Like not them specifically, but like in general. And like, sometimes they're like never together, or like you said, they don't know what role they're playing, which to me seems insane. But,
yeah, every once in a while there's like, you'll see an actor or whatever talk about like, like a movie where like they technically share scenes together, but they were shot in like different times, so like they never actually met, but there's like they've shot an entire scene where they're like interacting.
Yeah, that's insane to me.
Yeah. Movies. Not real, turns out.
Yeah. I heard that recently about Frankie Franco and Connor Sweeney. So, it happens.
I got a correction to make. The first time, it's taken 326 episodes, I finally got something wrong.
What?
The lady in Frankie Franco is not the woman that voices Pandora in Psycho Goreman. Well, it's like Christine and Christina or something, or they're like real names. It was some shit like that where I just like saw it and I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
You're off the podcast.
I gotta take a 3 week suspension.
Leave of absence.
I don't know how you guys are gonna record it, but you'll figure it out.
Notes app apology.
We're just gonna.
I should post one on Instagram. I sincerely apologize for anyone I hurt.
Yeah, you really.
I'll do the YouTube one, like that lady playing the ukulele when she apologized.
Hey guys, not to air my dirty laundry, but here's everything that happened. So sorry. Listen, I hyped you up. I was like, yeah, sounds good to me. Perfect. I don't fucking know. Well, thank you for...
clearly this is the last episode of the podcast because
we're done.
We said from the start, if we ever get something wrong, we'll end it. And here we are.
As you all
People
know,
of our word.
I have never said anything wrong in my life.
Yep.
So we are going to retire.
Be 30 feet long. It's impossible.
They absolutely can't. It's been proven. We are going to retire in disgrace and adieu.
Katie and I spent like 20 minutes bitching about like whoever left that fucking YouTube comment about the snakes in the last episode.
So goofy.
I literally was like, I am in no way offended by this and it doesn't bother me at all. However, and then we talked about it.
We were like, however, if you've ever actually listened to any episodes of this podcast, you know we say dumb shit all the time.
There's nothing.
99% of the time a joke. Like, I don't think presidential bang buses are real.
You should have introduced yourself.
I thought they were.
You should introduce yourself on the podcast as the girl in the podcast.
I did. I literally did on that episode.
I literally was going to respond and be like, yeah, I'll let Nathan know to that comment.
I'll never get over it. By the way, I know a lot about a snake. I know a lot about snakes because I have some.
Great.
Oh.
By the way, snakes can get that big. This one snake that I previously said, for example.
I guarantee what we were saying is I don't think a king cobra gets that big. Like, clearly anacondas and shit get that big.
Right. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
And also, I was like, what episode was that? 100 something, buddy. We are in deep in the 300s here. Like, just please.
I was like, I don't remember what we talked about 3 episodes ago, let alone.
Literally, no. There's no way.
I've gone back.
It makes so much sense. He has Triple H's profile picture.
Agree, yes. I have had times where I'm like, I'm gonna just go like see what we talked about in like this random episode, and I'm like, I don't remember any of this. I don't remember this movie.
Yeah, no. Sometimes I'll have like, you know how, I mean, obviously a lot of the streaming services will say like rewatch something that you've watched right. before. And it'll be like stuff that we've done for the podcast. And I'm like, did somebody hack me? I've never even heard of this. And then I'm like reading the thing and I'm like, oh, we did do this.
Tubi does that to me a lot where I'm like, do you want to rewatch this? And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I'm like, who?
And I'll look at Letterboxd and I'm like, oh, I gave this 4 stars. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, so there's just no way.
All right. I need 300,000 people to sign up for our Patreon so we can buy ourselves Evil Dead pinball machines.
Yes,
because that thing looks cool as fuck. That's my news story for the week. Because everything else is trash or about like the fucking Popeye movie or some bullshit. Or fucking, I don't know, somebody playing Sydney's daughter in Scream. So who cares?
Okay, weird. Sorry. Backtrack like 10 minutes. When you just admitted that you said something wrong in that Frankie Franco episode. I technically didn't say this incorrectly, but I postured that maybe Adam Brooks did the art for it. He didn't. And it's like very weird because this just popped up on my feed. Because there's like illustrations and it was somebody named Bob Fingerman. So if you would like to see that art, that's who did it. What a
Can't believe y'all getting shit wrong all the time. I'm the only one with a spotless record.
There was something I think Adam Brooks did for a drawing for Frankie Frico, but I don't remember what it was.
Probably. He, Bob, my new best friend Bob, whatever, just like shared one of the illustrations I was talking about, and you can see Connor in his concubine outfit if you would like to see that. Which like I just never even be? Yeah.
Go ahead for you finish what you're saying.
I was just gonna say there's like I guess a limited VHS version with the artwork that they're advertising or whatever. So, and I think they did art for Psycho Goreman also.
Probably.
Maybe not. Oh God, did I say something else wrong?
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah.
The commentary for Frankie Frico is so fun because Connor points out like what specifically he's like doing in every scene. Where like the what that be, he was just like, yeah, my kid used to say that all the time, so I just threw that in there. But then he's like, so they talk about like
it's what
incredible.
that is.
Oh yeah, what that is.
Makes
yeah.
That's it.
So much sense.
And he was
that would be something a kid would say.
They talk about like all of his outfits are essentially like exact replicas of like outfits Chandler wore on Friends. And that like so I guess originally like they started filming the movie and Connor was supposed to be like real uptight and like angry and sort of just like on edge all the time, and then they just decided to make him, he was like, I just decided, and like it wasn't working, so I was like, I'm just gonna be George Costanza. And so like a bunch of it, he's like, here's me doing George Costanza. Here's me like he's like literally this. He's like, this is my like homage to like Barry Bostwick in this movie or like whatever. Like that's like everything, every Incredible. Single scene. He's like, this is what I was trying to do, and I'm like, yeah, I see it. This works.
And I think that works so much better for his character to not be angry. Yeah, like the fact that he's always just like smiling and pleasant is so much better.
It works so much better.
So that was a good
just
call.
Like a weird like nerd dude.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, Katie, what'd you watch this week?
I don't think I watched anything. I sat and stared at a corner.
Hell yeah.
We're still watching
for 7 days straight.
Like pretty much. I think.
Was the corner good?
Oh, what? Yeah. It was. I don't know. I talked about it already. How we restarted watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So we pretty much only watched that, and then we're still watching through Tournament of Champions, and like I really honestly think that's it.
Did you start from the beginning of Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
No.
Oh, that's what I was curious about.
Well, we should have. But I think that we only didn't watch the last 2 seasons. So then we started rewatching like season 5 or whatever. And so far we're like more than halfway through. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure we finished this season, but we're still finishing anyway because it's like, I don't remember enough that it's not, I mean, like it's always still funny. It's like, it's hilarious. But
yeah,
so we're just like,
I don't think that show has a single like, dull episode or whatever.
No, it's so funny. Well, there are a few that are like super serious. Obviously, like the active shooter one is like pretty heavy. But other than that, it's like literally so funny.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's it.
What about you, Kit?
I
hear you got to see Wicked.
we did the Wickediator doubleheader.
What?
Wicked and Gladiator.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got it.
That was my Saturday. Saw Wicked and then Gladiator afterwards. Both pretty good. I was like, I'm not a huge musical person other than Dick's the Musical, which is the best movie ever. But Wicked was fun. Gladiator 2 fucking slaps. Denzel doing the absolute most. Ridley put a fucking boat fight with sharks in the Coliseum. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's all I've heard of. I never saw the first Gladiator, so like, I have no real. Like, it's one of those things where like Caitlin really wants to see it, and I was like, well, let's just wait till like it's streaming and we'll watch both of them. And they're like, I want to see it in the theater, and I was like, I don't. I was like, every theater experience sucks.
Yeah.
We went. We got the rumble seats.
Yeah.
and it was delightful. Made better. This there's like a bunch of older people around us, and they just like could not help themselves. So like someone gets like some fingers cut off, and the old guy to our right goes, "Woo-wee!" Just like loudly reacting to shit.
Weird.
Which honestly made it so much better.
I love that.
Let's.
Yeah, recommended. Go spend fucking 8 hours of your day doing that.
Oh God. I watched Vinegar Syndrome put out Through the Looking Glass, which everyone I follow has said is the best hardcore film ever made. And I don't know if I agree with that, but it was pretty good. It's fine. I don't know. I watched Bleeding Skull put out this 2005 found footage movie called In Memoriam that I just like blind bought because it was Bleeding Skull, and I don't really know how I feel about it, like because it's found footage, which is like extremely not my shit, and it's like pre-Paranormal Activity where there's like somebody putting up all of the cameras in their house, and so it's kind of interesting in a like, hey, this is actually like. They did this before Paranormal Activity, but like it's an interesting concept where like this guy's like, I'm dying of cancer, I'm just gonna let it take its course instead of like doing chemo and shit, but I want to film the process of just like what is happening to me, and then it like turns into this like whole other thing where like the thing haunting them is like his mom's ghost. That actually you find out that his mom hated him and his brother, so she's like haunting and trying to kill him. It's real weird. And it's like, it's a really interesting concept that I think could have been done a little better, but like, I didn't, hate watching it. It's just found footage, especially like movies like that where it takes like 50 minutes for anything to really happen. I was like, it becomes kind of a slog. I watched The Ghost Dance from 1982.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which I thought was better than all of the reviews on Letterboxd made it sound like it was going to be. Like, it's not the most interesting slasher I've ever seen, but I didn't think it was too bad. And then I watched Caligula, the Ultimate Cut, which is the new cut with like 70% unseen footage that they tried to make like, I think Gore Vidal's script version of it. It was really good. I don't find it as good as like the original one because they cut out a shit ton of the violence and all of the like fucking hardcore sex scenes that fucking Penthouse threw back in or like added in with no one's awareness. But like it's like Malcolm McDowell comes off fucking incredible in the new cut. Because it's all like almost like where they cut out all the violence and all of like the sex, it's mostly relying on his acting, and it's all of this footage that like were like just essentially like alternate takes or shit that was just like excised from the movie completely, and he's fucking incredible in it. Like he's good in the like the regular cut of it, but he is so fucking good in this new cut. I think that's it. Just still in fucking Survivor. Still bad. Although we finished season 20, and season 20 was like like heroes versus villains. So it was like all of these like sort of greatest hits players, and it was like really fucking good. And now we're in a season. Started season 21, where like it's young versus old, and all of the young people are unhinged. Like they immediately get on the island. They're like, all right. Let's fuck. Who's the hottest people here? I'm in love with this person. This person's the hottest person I've ever seen. And then there's like one woman who has like a prosthetic leg, and this other woman like told her like, get out of my way or I'll throw that fucking leg in the ocean or some shit. It's fucking insane. People are like, it's clearly at that point. Like I think this is in like where we hit like 2010, where like reality TV is like an established like working thing, so people are coming on with that mindset of like, I'm going to be the villain this season because it'll make me popular.
Sure.
So like people are coming on and just immediately being the shittiest person alive.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks, but like, I don't know. It is what it is. All right, Katie, we have a shout out.
Holiday M&M's, sucker.
You still eating those?
Skittles, McDonald's, Coca-Cola.
My shout out's capitalism.
Yeah, baby.
Undefeated.
Kit, what do you want to shout out?
Oh God. What is the thing that I've enjoyed or hated this week?
There's a lot of hated.
I was gonna say, reverse shoutouts have been very popular, so it's okay.
Everything's bad.
World's pretty bad. Vinegar Syndrome's releasing Congo.
Hell yeah.
I'll shout that out. Go Congo. Also, Severin's doing Rats Night of Terror.
Did you see they're doing a novelization of it too?
Yes, and I need that.
God, I want that. Like, I have all of the like quote unquote demon sequels except the Mask of Satan, so I'm so fucking stoked they're releasing that.
There we go. There's my shout out, is modern novelizations of 40-year-old movies.
Good. Very good.
I'm gonna shout out the new Lonely Island video for Here I Go, where Andy Samberg just plays like a suburban white dude that likes to call the cops on people stepping on his lawn.
Using his trash can.
It's so funny. All right. I don't think we have a plan for next week. We got to discuss that when we're done recording and figure out fucking December recording schedule. So, surprise for next week.
Surprise.
It'll either be
something or nothing.
Yeah, it'll be something. Whether it's good or not, we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Fourth shout out. Bird flu detected in raw milk sold in California.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to everyone drinking raw milk again for getting fucking owned. Killed by birds.
Congratulations on bringing out the new pandemic, RFK Jr.
Seriously.
Yeah. We did it.
This Mac and Me brought to you
Another
by
one.
RFK Jr.'s favorite meal, McDonald's.
Yeah.
All right. If you'd like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/IPSufferPodcast. We will have a episode on the movie Heathers by the time this comes out. That you can listen to if you join. And then Chris Kattanmus coming up soon.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
You can leave us a rating and review on iTunes and Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram.
All
right, come on. You could do that in like 2 weeks on the actual episode.
Okay.
Katie and I are going to record.
I'm just workshopping it, okay?
We're going to record our
test run.
50 different versions of our voices and do our own choir.
Yep.
You can follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery and Kitchification of Blood. You can follow Katie at WerewolfFace. Enjoy Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/WerewolfFace. You can listen to my other podcast, NK Movie Club. And if you want, you can follow me on Blue Sky at Gordon Scramsey, where you could just see me post bad takes, I guess. Blue Sky. Still not great, but better. Better than Twitter, at least.
Yeah, infinitely better.
I am so goddamn tired of the fucking echo chamber fucking discourse. Where I'm just like, I'm about to fucking delete this shit too. Fuck, I'm so fucking tired of all this. Alright, next week I'm just gonna say watch Rumpelstiltskin. We're not covering it, but go watch it anyway.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah.
Alright. I hope you get shot by the police, but why? And then Mac brings you back to life as a crazy zombie killer.
Yeah.
God, the sequel would rip.